Okay, so we've got a 550 top over bottom that needs upper door hardware. The lower door cams are actually intact for once, but you'll often see those break. You got to take the door off and change out the cams. But if we look up top here, we have metal on metal. There is supposed to be a bushing in between there. Now I could just put a bushing in there, but it's been metal on metal so long that you can see the size of the holes like double what it should be. So we need to put a brand new cabinet hinge on. Got a door hardware, upper door hardware. And to keep it all in place, we got a C-clip. So I'll show you how to do that. We're gonna have to remove all 3 bolts from the cabinet hinge. The door will pull forward. We'll take the door off. We'll replace the cabinet hinge. We'll replace the upper hardware on the door. Sometimes what you can do is you can take a pencil and trace this so you know exactly where it was beforehand, so that when you put it all back together on the upper door hardware, you'll know you'll have a really good fresh starting point. And you want that starting point because it's been closing like this. This thing's a 1989. I'm not going to change the position of the upper door hardware, so trace it, and that's how we'll put it all back together. Step 1, Dan's going to loosen the bolts on the cabinet hinge. 1 in the front, 2 in the back. You can do this with the door closed. It's no problem. If you loosen them all the way, they will. The door maybe won't fall out, but you'll have time to get off your ladder and kind of pull the door away. And it's going to be heavy, and we'll just place it on the ground here. Okay, so he's got all 3 bolts out of his cabinet hinge. He can step on down from the ladder very slowly. You can kind of move the ladder. And then with your right hand, you're gonna hold the door handle and you're just gonna pull away from the door. That's gonna slowly come. So you can also try to do it by opening the door. Go ahead and open the door. Left hand on the handle, right hand on the right side. Pull. You can want to pull out and then up off of the cabinet hinge on the bottom, and it'll lift up and it'll come right off. Okay. Good. All right, let's see what we're working with here. Look at that. There's the old bushing. And making its way through the stainless steel. Once it gets all the way through that stainless steel, the door falls off. All right, Dan marking his hinge, his upper hardware with a pencil. We'll get it all cleaned up. We'll know exactly where the upper hardware went. All right, take that off. You can see where it went. This one obviously pretty obvious, but on the cleaner ones, you're gonna want that pencil. All right, and Dan will screw that back in. That'll do the upper hardware. We're going to do the lower hardware anyway, the cams. We got it all off. We're gonna take these plastic cams off. We're gonna change the left swing cam. And then on the bottom of the door, there's another one that's a common cam. We'll change them. We're doing all this work. We're taking the door off. We may as well just change everything. Okay, and then he's going to flip that over this way. Right onto the ground. And we are going to change out that common cam. Okay, put that new cam in there. We do this because over time, these cams, they lose thickness and the door actually drops a little bit lower. So while we got the door off and we're doing the upper hardware, the cams should be replaced as well. It looks like we can keep the lower door hardware, and the lower cabinet hardware looks pretty good. But yeah, so we'll get this back on now. Okay, so we'll put it back together. You've got your cabinet hinge. I've got a new bushing in there, and we're just gonna put it right back together like it's supposed to go on the door. You'll see the door swings open. Just make sure everything's aligned. And you get your C-clip, put it back into place. Now this is on here now. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna lift the door up, and we're gonna slide this into that slot right there and reconnect. Okay, and then we'll put the bolts into the cabinet hinge from the top. So watch as I do. All right, It's really a two-man job, but what can you do? All right, you get it on the lower peg first. Okay. Slide you're kind of really just using muscle at this point to get it into place. And then your cabinet hinge goes right up and through and into place. So once it's in there, you can go ahead and close your door as best you can. And get up there. Align your cabinet hinge up here over the spacers. There's going to be these nice spacers here. We'll get it all aligned. Sorry about the quality. And then once we have the spacers in there, you may need to really get it lined up. At that point, we'll get our bolts and we'll just start to fish them through. Get us back into place. Dan, you can let off that a little bit. Put the camera down. We're just gonna kind of, you get the gist. We just have to get it all lined up, so I can't do it with the cell phone in my hands. All right, completed. Got our 3 bolts in. Now look how nice. We've got nice new door cams. We've got rubber on metal instead of metal on metal. And our door closes great. And it's straight as an arrow. Unfortunately, we had to bend this to get to those bolts. We'll bend that back, undo it nicely, and we'll be all set. That's how you change the door hardware on a 550 unit, so the door doesn't fall on you.